It has been since 2005, and it has only been pretty much up until 3 months ago where I've really thought about transitioning and what that would mean, for me as a singer. I have questions like, what the hell is testosterone gonna do to my voice? I really wanna sing, and that's what I wanna do, and I have simple questions like that are a big deal to me. And so I feel like I'm just kind of on the, what's the word, precipice? Like, I'm just really right there, beginning to delve into this. And so the perspective that I'd like to offer is just kind of like what I envision my ideal therapy session to look like. And just like everyone else, we also need support. And just like everyone else, we go to therapy. Just like everyone else, we want to be loved and honored for who we are. Eye contact is super huge for me, simply because as somebody who feels like I'm fighting a lot of isms, I simply want to be seen. So eye contact is a really big deal. And I think also, especially now that I'm questioning my gender more and more and figuring out what it means to be the femmiest, butchiest girl around, and like there's just all these things, and I want to be seen. For those of you who are practicing currently or who will be practicing, signage is super important. Like, we need to know that we're in a safe place, right? And also I think it's really important for you to speak to your client, like, what does a safe space look like to you? And how can I help create that with you together? I think that's also really important to me, is to feel like I have a say in what my therapy is going to look like, especially since I'm paying you. Intake, paperwork, please fight for choices. And it's okay to be creative, and it's okay to ask your client questions. It's okay to be like, hey, I thought of something. I'm not really sure if this is going to work for you, but what do you say?
But the piece that worked really well for me in terms of the trans piece was that she actually has never had a trans client, and I was surprised, and I was like, that was okay for me. And the reason it was okay was because she said, you know what, she was just really upfront about it. She was like, you know what, I have never had a trans client. So things might come up that I don't know, and if I need to know, I trust that you will tell me. And she also said, you know, there might be things that I say that are completely off. And again, I trust that you will tell me when I do that. And those two sentences were almost magical. They gave me permission to just say, like, yeah, that doesn't work for me, or like, I don't like that language, or that's completely not how I'm feeling. But it made me feel like, okay, yes, I can work with this person, and they didn't need to actually know, or I've had another trans client for me to feel like I can go to the person. And in some ways I actually, like, while I would love for there to be many people who have lots of experience with gender and trans clients and genderqueer clients, I also really want to encourage people that you don't have to know everything or have had a million trans clients in order to work with trans people. And for me, that openness and honesty was huge. I would like my therapist to respect the gender pronouns that I so choose to use. I don't ever want my therapist to be silent. And when I mean silent, even if we're not speaking, we're still speaking. Meaning that your body language, your eye contact, simple eye twitch, or, you know, holding onto your heart, like, oh, your story, oh, like that, like, that's still explaining, or it's still conveying a message to me. So own it. Own how you're feeling. Speak up and say that, hey, your story sounds really harsh and it's really intense for me right now. Like, it's okay to say that.
it's okay to be really honest with your client, because if anything, I don't want you to not be present with me. And also, I don't want to hear, "Are you sure?" I know that it seems really a simple question to ask, but it reminds me of my mother, so I don't like it. And it also makes me feel like that I don't know what I'm talking about, or that, well, I wouldn't have brought it up unless I really wanted to dive into it and go there with you. So when someone says, "Are you sure?" it's kind of like a judgment already. And to a lot of people, it doesn't seem like one, but that's what it feels like to me. It sounds very condescending.
As Tony said, like, take each person as an individual, and if you have trans education, that is great. And your next client might have nothing to do with the 30-page handout that you just read.